So we're back in Blender and I've imported the SVG file that we created in Inkscape using file import scalable vector graphics. We could have imported it as a grease pencil as well, but for this approach we're going to treat it as curves. So on the left, when it's imported, you can see this test parent anim.svg collection that contains a set of curves, and it's uh, as you can see, there are many curves for the ones that we didn't combine together, but for the ones that we did, here they are, the foot and the lower leg. So the changes that we made in Inkscape were effectively imported into Blender, and now we can begin to animate. So let's begin with frame number 1, and I'm going to animate a simple sequence of events where the walk monster withdraws his leg backwards in this direction and then kicks out in this direction. But it will illustrate the changes that we've made so far. So if I select this and I hit R to rotate, it's going to rotate from the origin point, which is far out. So let me first turn on my shortcut VUR keys that I always forget to turn on, and then change the origin. So I set the origin to be the option that I want to change, and then I drag the origin for that segment to be closer to the top of the knee. So, and then when so much better. Now we do the same for the lower leg. Options, origin, move the origin to a good pivot point, turn it back off. Yep, good. So now these are independently rotating, which is not what we want. We want the lower leg to be the parent of the foot, so that when this rotates, the foot should be attached and rotating along with it. So to do that, we first select the child, then we select the parent with Shift Select, and then Command P on the Mac, and we choose Object Keep Transform. So now this is the parent of this, and if I rotate the parent, the child comes along with it. But if I rotate the child, it's just the child that rotates. And that's enough for us to accomplish our kick action. So now the fun stuff. So we're at frame number 1, and I'm going to add a keyframe. So I hit I, and we're only going to modify the rotation for now for this test. So I'm going to insert only rotation keyframes, and then switch maybe to frame number 12, which is half a second, and bring the foot back this far, and then hit I again and rotation, and then it should be a very slow wind up and then a quick release or a quick kick. So I'm going to put the kick impact at 14. So at 14, fully outstretched. If we were to do this right, we would have to animate the thigh as well, because it's sort of disjointed now, but let's just do the two lower parts. So there you go, and then I rotation. So let's check that out first. So I'm going to select P to just animate within this selection range. Okay, not bad. And the next step would be to bring the lower foot along for the ride. So let's go to 12, and let's push the lower leg further backwards. And I hit I, rotation. I forgot to put a keyframe for the first frame for the lower leg. Yeah, so let me do that. So rotation this big, then I, boom. So we have two keyframes. goes back, and then 15, no, so frame number 14, we really exaggerate the kick and we break the bone, as it were. But this is something normal in animation where you don't actually see it, but you do, in a way where you feel it rather than you see the breaking of the bone. So eye rotation. Okay, let's try that out. Yeah, it's got a snappy kick to it. And we can modify the timing by using the graph editor, but I think this is sufficient for this video where we're trying to see how easy it could be to animate different parts of the walk monster quickly.